on to control.
Now then, Mr. Marsh, is there anything I can get you?
Aye, some lab paper.
Some what?
Some paper for toilet.
I'm sorry, Mr. Marsh, you've come to the wrong shop.
Yeah, I know. I'm in public privy round corner in High Street. There isn't any, and there hasn't been any for 3 days past.
Is that so? Well, as I say, we don't stock it.
No, I know that. I'm making a public complaint.
Huh?
Yeah, well, you're my local councillor, aren't you, Mr. Hayworth?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, well, you leave it to me. I'll see it's brought up at the next parish council meeting.
Yeah, I hope you damn well will. 'Tisn't the first time that I've been caught out in High Street, you know. It's my war wound. It plays havoc with my proper functions, havoc.
Yes, well, you can rest assured I'll convey your complaint.
Yeah. When is it?
Huh?
Next meeting.
Oh, it's a week next Tuesday, I think.
Aren't you having an emergency?
To discuss a roll of toilet paper.
Don't be daft. I mean Jessie Smith.
Jessie Smith.
You know, Gypsy Tink.
I know Jessie Smith is, but why should the parish council meet to You mean he's out?
Aye. My daughter-in-law saw him yesterday in Wakefield Bullring.
Oh, my God. Elsie! Watch the shop! Urgent! Council business!
Jessie Smith.
Jessie Smith?
Aye, he's out.
Out?
Aye.
Oh, my God.
I know, that's what your husband said.
He's out! Jessie Smith! Don't matter, just tell me! Bob! He's out! Jessie Smith! Tom Marshall, just tell me.
Whoops-a-daisy, Arthur. Hello, Arnold. Bit early for you, isn't it? What you going to have?
He's out!
Eh?
Jessie Smith is out! That's right! Gypsy fella! He's free again!
You sure?
He was seen yesterday in Wakefield.
Oh. Yes, well, even so. Doesn't mean to say he's coming back here.
He'll come back. He'll come back, all right. I never helped you when he does. Give me half a pint of mild.
Smith, you said?
Jessie Smith, a gypsy.
All right. Well, I've got a note about him somewhere here from headquarters. They usually tip me the wink in advance.
He was released from Thorpe Arch Prison yesterday morning, 2 years for receiving stolen property.
You seem to know a lot about it.
Well, he used to live here, you see. Well, not exactly in the village, just outside.
In a caravan on Lindo Common. That's what caused all the trouble.
The caravan?
Scrap metal. He turned the place into a junkyard, a pigsty. Well, you know what these flaming diddycoys are like, Constable.
Well, not this one, I don't. It was a bit before my time. Yes, here we are. You're quite right. He was released yesterday morning. Well, what about it?
Well, Smith blames us for his prison sentence, for everything.
What, you or Mr. Mason?
Not just us. The council, local residents, anyone who signed the petition.
Petition?
To the county council asking for Smith to be moved on, to take his caravan and his junkyard somewhere else.
The place was a blot on the landmark, Constable. A pigsty, an eyesore.
Yeah, so you said, but I can't...
The point is, when the police, led by your predecessor, Mr. Parkin, arrived to clear the site, they found the lead.
The lead?
The stolen lead that Smith went to prison for.
He'd not had time to get rid of it, you see, and if it hadn't been for our petition...
He wouldn't have got nicked. Yeah, well, that's one way of looking at it, I suppose.
Well, that's the way he's looking at it.
Well, that's why he threatened us.
Oh?
He said he'd pay us back, each and every one of us, as soon as he got out.
Oh, aye.
It's not funny, Constable. He's coming back.
What, to take on the whole village single-handed? Well, I wouldn't lose too much sleep about it if I was you, but thanks for letting me know. I'll keep my eyes open for him.
Oh, I suppose you think we're making a fuss about nothing?
No, Mr. Hayworth, but, mind you.
Yes?
Well, I do think you are taking it a bit seriously. I mean, after all, he's only one man. I mean, by the heck, to hear you talk, you'd think he was 10 foot tall with muscles to match.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Tom. If he comes back here, You wish he hadn't. I've never known nothing like it. So as far as I'm concerned, it's set from me not to be.
Afternoon, all.
Hello, Jesse lad. Back again, I see.
Aye. Well, I said I would be, didn't I? Eh? I said I'd be back.
Makes me laugh, you know. To hear Mr. Arnold Hayworth talk, you'd think the whole village was about to take up to the hills on account of this Jesse Smith.
Guilty conscience, perhaps.
Eh?
Well, I mean, having him moved on's one thing, having him sent to the nick's another.
They didn't have him sent to the nick, he was caught crimson-handed.
Well, perhaps they still feel partly to blame. I mean, if it hadn't been for that petition, you would have been
What's hell
all right.
with the petition? That doesn't explain why they've all got the trots. I mean, God love us, Ron. After all, he's only one man.
A bit more than that, Moss.
What?
He's a gypsy.
Yeah, well, he's a tink anyway.
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Well, that's why everyone's so frightened of him.
Oh, give over.
Look, I'm telling you, there's something about tinks and gypsies that scares the living daylights out of most people, especially country folk.
Oh, yeah, the evil eye. Cross me palm with a 10-bob piece or I'll turn your milk to yoghurt.
You can laugh, but if you've heard some of the stories I've heard about gypsies...
Well, of course I've heard stories about gypsies. Everybody has. Hundreds of them, but they don't believe them. Not anymore. Well, do they?
Oh, no, of course not. There's plenty more tea in the pot if you want it.
Oh, she can't really believe
Well, I
it.
don't see why not. There's plenty hereabouts that do.
Well, you think that's it, then? That's why they're frightened of it?
Some of them, yes. Well, I mean, it's not so long ago, is it?
What?
Since they were burning witches on Fickley Village Green.
OK. So a few of the dafter ones thinks he's going to turn them into a pumpkin. But what about the rest? Half the parish council? I mean, what they're frightened of? What the hell do they think he can do?
Ah, that's better. You know, I'd forgotten what it tasted like. After 18 months on that, but porridge and cocoa. Eh?
Have another one, Jess. Make it a short, Jack.
One scotch, one large scotch coming up.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Hayworth, Mr. Mason. Mind you, it's not but what I'd expect.
How do you mean?
Well, there's been such a friendly pub.
Oh.
You're always sure of a warm welcome here, especially if you've got the price of a pint on you, eh, Mr. Mason?
That's right.
That's what made it so hard, you know. Been locked up, I mean, like an animal, for all those months.
Yes, well, we wanted to have a word with you about that, just let...
Still, it give me something to look forward to, something to think about. After a time, it got so as I could think of naught else. Now but coming back here to Fickley. Walking down the high street, seeing the same old faces. Well, here I am.
Here you are, Jess, lad.
Here you are.
And welcome. Welcome back,
Welcome back my backside.
Mr. Marsh.
There's no call for that, Tom.
No call for what? You make me sick, the lot of you, smarming up to a chap just because he's got it in for you.
That'll do,
I know he's a nasty little beggar, but he don't scare me. Yeah, that Jesse Smith. You come sniffing round my back door and you get your backside full of bullshot. Flamin' tink.
Well, what were all that about?
Oh, pay no heed to him. I mean, you know Tom Marsh.
Yes, he thinks he's still fighting the Battle of the Bulge.
Got it in for you? Why should you think I'd got it in for you?
Oh, it's just a little misunderstanding.
It's on account of what you said the night you know, the night the police...
Well, we all know you didn't mean it. I mean, you say all sorts of things in the heat of the moment. I mean, I know I do. We all do, don't we, Jackie?
What?
Huh?
What am I supposed to have said?
What?
The night I was pinched.
You don't remember?
Well, it was nearly 2 years ago.
That's exactly what I said. Didn't I say that Jesse Smith was never one to hold a grudge? That it'd all be forgotten, forgiven by the time he got out?
And is it, Jesse?
Well, if I can't even remember what it is I'm supposed to have said.
By heck, Jesse, lad, that's a relief. If you knew how worried and upset we all were when you blamed the village for what happened to you.
Yeah, and when you swore when you got back you'd take the place
Well,
apart...
what can one man do against you lot, eh? Little Jesse Smith, all on his jack.
It's a bit daft now you think about it, isn't it?
Besides, I'm a marked man now, and an ex-con. If I was to take one step off the pavement, just one step, See?
Yes, of course. You're right.
Yes, well, I'd best be getting back to the shop.
Mind you, that won't stop Cousin Frank.
What's that?
My cousin Frank over at Tilkley.
What about him?
You see, my cousin Frank always reckoned it was on account of you that I was sent down. And when he heard that I was out,
Yes?
I don't rightly know how to tell you this, Mr. Hayworth. You've been so nice and friendly and all, but
Tell me what?
he's passing through here this afternoon.
Your cousin Frank?
Him and a few maids, 9 or 10 of them.
How many?
9. You're 10.
Now look here, Jesse. If your cousin Frank's coming here to make trouble...
Trouble, Mr. Hayworth. Cousin Frank and his mob. Huh. You go through this village like a 10-ton tank.
How many?
11 or 12 of them, according to Arnold Hayworth and the road.
Been ringing through every 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, foot and mouth disease is a damn sight more important than Mr. Arnold Hayworth.
Another outbreak.
Aye. Hatfield place on the Ilkley Road.
Quarantine then.
Yeah, the whole area, including Padmore Village.
I'll put the kettle on.
Aye, right, I will.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him, Mr. Parkin.
What?
Jesse Smith to come back here with the whole crowd all tanked up and looking for trouble.
All right, then. Well, I'd best sort him out, hadn't I? Forget the kettle, love. Where's he going to be at?
The bus stop opposite Fox Inn.
Bus stop.
Aye, Cousin Frank and said he'd meet him there at 4 o'clock sharp.
You waiting for somebody?
I am.
Who?
Thou knows.
So it's true, then?
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, well, just tell them they're not welcome, will you?
I'll tell them. Won't make much difference,
Make
though.
a big difference to you
Oh,
if it goes
how'd you
trouble.
make that out?
Because you put them up to it. That's incitement.
Stobblers. I never asked him here. Just said he'd come. There's naught I can do to stop him. Naught anyone can do, except keep out of his way.
You know, they said you were a cheeky beggar. They were right.
Cheeky? Me?
Yeah, you. An ex-con warning me off my own patch. Now that's cheeky.
Suit yourself. But when the lads get here,
I'll be ready for them.
well, all 10 of them,
Well, I'm not the only copper in the Ormsworth division, you know.
you are today, Constable.
What?
The only copper for miles around. All the rest are on special duty. The big match. You hadn't forgotten the big match, had you? I hadn't. Cousin Frank hadn't either. He knew you'd be on your jack today. That's why he's coming here.
Why?
But why is he coming here?
Why do you want to cause trouble?
Not me, Constable. Cousin Frank.
You can't blame the whole village because you were sent down.
I don't.
Well, then.
Have you any idea what it's like to be a tink? No, of course you haven't. How could you? Always been pushed around. Moved on from place to place. Treated like filth. Like a leper every time you want to settle somewhere. Way I've been treated here. In Fickley.
The petition?
Why, the petition.
Yeah, well, you spoilt the common.
Spoil it? How can you spoil a rubbish dump? That's what it was forever I got here. That was just an excuse to get me out and move me on, because I'm a gypsy, a dirty, rotten tink. Let him in, they'll all be here. That's what they said. Wasn't right, Constable. Wasn't fair. I'll never forget what these decent, respectable people in Fickley have done to me, not as long as I live.
It's going to make you feel better.
Eh?
Smashing up the place.
Not me. Cousin Frank. At 4 o'clock. Sharp.
Yes, Sergeant, I fully appreciate what day it is, but I would have thought under the circumstances you could have... Yeah, but look, it's not as though I'm asking for half a division. I only want 3 or 4 PCs and a dog handler. Well, a couple of PCs, then. A cadet. Yeah, OK, well, I understand. Right, well, will you check up for me on this Frank Smith, then? Yeah, he lives over Ilkley way. Well, there can't be that many tinks who... Yeah, it's all right, Sergeant. Right, well, thanks very much. Ta-ra.
No go.
Oh, I thought I was having him on.
He didn't believe you.
Oh, believe me. Said Jesse Smith was just another ex-con shooting his mouth off.
But what does Sergeant Bates know about it? Stuck up there at Ormsford.
Well, he knows how many men he's got available. And to be fair, I mean, why should he send men down here for a possible emergency when he's already got a dead cert in his hands at the match?
Yes, but sure.
Not to mention the foot and mouth disease outbreak. And that seems to be spreading.
But what if he's wrong about Jesse Smith? Bates can't expect you to face those men all alone.
Why, not only can, he does. Says I should look on it as a challenge.
A challenge? You against 10 drunken yobs? You don't stand a chance, Moss.
Well, there's not just me. I mean, there's always Ron.
Oh, no, there isn't.
Yes, there is. He said he was coming back again about 3.
Had to go to Rawley, theft, scrap metal.
Oh. Oh, well.
Don't go.
What?
Don't go.
Oh, Beth.
But what good will it do? You'd only get bashed up, maybe badly injured. For what? Won't stop them smashing up the village after they've smashed up you.
Look, love, don't take on. I'll think of something.
They're asking too much of you, Moss.
Yeah, well, happen they are, but what can I do? I mean, I can't run away, can I? Even if I felt like it.
Well, you could go sick, get the flu, food poisoning. You could, you know.
No, love.
They'd never know.
I would, wouldn't I? Look, ta-ra, see you at 7.
Oh, yes. How?
Hey, do you know something? I'm beginning to feel more and more like Gary Cooper every minute.
What?
Well, we shall just have to do the best we can. Of course we'll back you up, Constable, eh, lads?
You can count on me, Mr. Parkin.
It's our civic duty to help the police in every way we can.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not asking you to have a go, lads. Just, like, be there when they show up.
Show them that every able-bodied man in the village is behind you.
Yeah, it'll take more than a crowd of things to frighten us fickly eyes.
Besides, it'll be 2 or 3 to 1 in our favour, not counting you and your colleagues, Constable.
Ah, when will the beer be the way?
Frank Smith's lot?
No, your colleagues.
Ah, they're not.
What?
They're not coming.
Not coming.
No, they couldn't be spared. Got other things on.
Couldn't be? You mean there'll only be you, on your own, to face all these men?
Yeah, well, that's how it would have been, yeah, and until you lot offered to back me up.
Oh, yes, well,
Well, I don't know about the others, but I was under the impression that I'd only be required to give you moral support, Constable.
yeah, I mean, second line of defence, so to speak.
I mean, you could hardly expect us to get involved in a drunken brawl with a lot of vicious layabouts.
Well, you obviously expect me to.
Oh, I know that, but I mean, you're trained for it. Besides, I mean...
Yeah, go on, say it. That's what I get paid for.
Well, I wouldn't put it quite so bluntly as that, lad.
So you're opting out then, Mr. Hayworth?
Yes, well,
You too, Mr. Mason. Mr. Hanley? Mr. Bell? Well, it'll be a lot quicker if I ask who's still in.
excuse me, Tom, lad, will you?
Well, no one, not anybody. What about you, Mr. Marsh?
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Parkin, but I wouldn't be much use to seeing up with my bad leg.
Right, thanks. You know, thanks very much.
Well, you lot may be prepared to let him go out there alone, but I'm damned if I am.
No, Tom, there's no point.
You'll deserve everything that's coming to you, every flaming thing.
Are you absolutely sure about Frank Smith, Sarge? Right, thanks very much.
Mr. Parkin, I've changed my mind.
You what?
Hey, I'm not so quick on my feet as I used to be, but if you got a spare truncheon...
So it's going with me and you, is it?
If you'll have me.
I'll have you, Mr. Marsh. Thank you very much. Hop in.
Thank you, Ta. Right.
Was that him?
Aye.
What did you say to him?
Nothing much, didn't have to say much. Your cousin Frank's a farmer in Ilkley, isn't he?
What's that got to do with?
Everything when there's foot and mouth in the village.
Which village?
Well, not this one, but he's not to know that.
You told him this place were in quarantine?
I told him it was going to be.
And he believed you?
Why not? There's one thing farmers can't stand, it's foot and mouth. He knew it was in the area, and the quarantine papers out.
Good God.
What?
You conned him. You conned Cousin Frank.
That's all in a good cause, eh?
You called me a cheeky beggar. Well, that's it then, isn't it? Ta-ra, Mr. Parkin.
Ta-ra, Jesse.
I'll not be back.
I know.
Congratulations, Constable.
Well, we don't know how you managed it, but we can promise you this. A letter of thanks will be going to your chief constable.
Oh, don't bother, Miss Hayworth. I mean, after all, it's like you said, it's what I get paid for. Drive you home.